America looks rich from the outside. Big houses, luxury cars, shopping malls full of people, restaurants packed every weekend. New phones, new clothes, new lifestyles. But behind the scenes, something terrifying is happening. Millions of Americans are not actually becoming wealthier. They are becoming more dependent on debt, credit cards, car loans, student loans, mortgages, buy now, pay later. Personal loans. And the most shocking part is many people don't even realize they are trapped. Every month their paycheck comes in, and before they can even breathe, it disappears. Rent, groceries, gas, insurance, minimum payments, interest, subscriptions, more bills, and then they wait for the next paycheck again and again and again. This is the hidden debt crisis quietly destroying America. And the scariest part is it doesn't look like a crisis from the outside. Because people are still spending, but many are not spending money they have. They are spending money they owe. And once you understand how this system works, you'll never look at debt the same way again. Welcome to Next Gen Finance, where we break down money, business, financial psychology, and the economy in the simplest way possible. Today, we're talking about one of the biggest financial problems in America, debt. But this is not just about numbers. This is about people, families, workers, students, young adults, parents, even high-income earners. People who look financially normal from the outside, but privately feel trapped. Because debt is not just a financial problem. Debt is emotional. Debt creates stress. Debt controls choices. Debt delays dreams. Debt keeps people working jobs they hate. Debt makes people feel like they are always behind. And today we're going to uncover how America became addicted to debt, why banks profit from it, why so many people can't escape it, and what this teaches us about money, psychology, and wealth. Section 1. America looks rich, but the numbers tell a different story. From the outside, America looks like the richest country in the world. And in many ways it is. The US has some of the biggest companies on earth, the largest stock market, the most powerful banks, some of the richest people in history. But when you look at ordinary households, the story becomes very different. According to the New York Fed, US household debt has reached around $18.8 trillion. That number is so large, most people can't even imagine it. $18.8 trillion means households owe money on homes, cars, credit cards, student loans, and other debt. And yes, some debt can be useful. A mortgage can help someone buy a home. A student loan can help someone get education. A business loan can help someone build something. But the problem starts when debt stops being a tool and becomes a lifestyle. That's what's happening to millions of people. Debt is no longer used only for major life investments. Debt is now used to survive. People are using credit cards for groceries, loans for cars they can barely afford, buy now, pay later for clothes, credit for vacations, payments for phones, payments for furniture, payments for almost everything. The modern economy has made debt feel normal. And that is exactly why it is dangerous. Because the most dangerous trap is the one that doesn't feel like a trap. Section 2. The paycheck disappears before the month ends. Let's imagine a normal American worker. They work hard, maybe 40 hours a week, maybe more. Their paycheck arrives. For one moment, they feel safe, but then the money starts disappearing. First comes rent or mortgage, then electricity, water, internet, phone bill, car payment, car insurance, gas, groceries, credit card minimum payment, student loan, medical bill, streaming subscriptions, food delivery, unexpected expenses, and suddenly the paycheck is almost gone. This is how millions of Americans live, not because they're lazy, not because they don't work, but because the cost of life has become extremely heavy. And when income does not grow as fast as expenses, people don't stop living. They borrow. That's where the trap begins. A credit card feels like a solution in the moment, but later, it becomes another monthly bill. Then interest is added. Then the minimum payment increases. Then the balance doesn't go down. And slowly, the person is no longer working for themselves. They are working for creditors. This is how debt steals the future, quietly, month by month. Section 3, credit cards, the invisible handcuffs. Credit cards are one of the most powerful financial tools ever created. Used correctly, they can be helpful. They can build credit. They can offer rewards. They can provide emergency flexibility. But used incorrectly, they become financial handcuffs. The problem is psychological. When you pay with cash, you feel the money leaving. But when you swipe a card, the pain is delayed. You get the product now. The pain comes later, and companies understand this perfectly. That's why spending has become easier than ever. One tap, one click, one swipe. No emotional resistance, no pause, no feeling of loss. This is why many people spend more with credit cards than they would with cash. The card creates distance between the decision and the consequence, and that distance is profitable, very profitable. Because when people carry balances, banks earn interest. The longer people stay in debt, the more money the system makes. This is why minimum payments are so dangerous. They make debt feel manageable, but often the balance barely moves. A person may pay every month and still feel like they are stuck in the same place. That is the genius of the debt system. It doesn't need to destroy you immediately. It only needs to keep you paying. Section 4, the car loan trap. Now let's talk about another huge part of American debt, car loans. In many parts of America, a car is not a luxury, it's a necessity. People need cars to go to work, to pick up children, to buy groceries, to live daily life. But cars have become more expensive. Insurance has become more expensive. Repairs have become more expensive. And because many people can't pay cash, they finance. At first, the monthly payment looks affordable, but then reality hits. Car payment, insurance, fuel, maintenance, registration, repairs. Suddenly, the car is not just transportation, it becomes a financial burden. And here's the painful part. Cars usually lose value over time. That means many people are making payments on something that is becoming less valuable every month. This is the opposite of wealth building. Wealthy people try to own assets that grow. Many average people get trapped paying for liabilities that shrink, and the system encourages it. Dealerships don't always focus on the total price. They focus on the monthly payment, because when people ask, "Can I afford this per month?" they often ignore the real question, what will this cost me over time? That difference matters, because monthly payment thinking is one of the biggest reasons people stay financially trapped. Section 5, student loans and delayed dreams. For millions of Americans, debt starts early, before they buy a home, before they start a family, before they build wealth. It starts with education. Student loans were supposed to be an investment in the future, and sometimes they are. Education can increase income. A degree can open doors, but for many people, student debt has become a heavy chain. They graduate, and before they even build savings, they already owe thousands, sometimes tens of thousands, sometimes more. That debt affects life decisions. People delay buying homes, delay marriage, delay having children, delay starting businesses, delay investing, delay saving for retirement. And psychologically, this creates pressure because the person starts adult life already behind. Instead of building wealth from zero, they begin from negative. This is one reason many young Americans feel like the American dream is moving further away. They are working, but the goal keeps moving. Housing is expensive, groceries are expensive, cars are expensive, healthcare is expensive, and debt is waiting every month. So the question becomes, how can someone build wealth when so much of their income belongs to the past? That is what debt does. It makes your future pay for your past. Section 6, buy now, pay later. The new debt disguise. Now there is a newer trap. Buy now, pay later. At first it sounds harmless. 4 easy payments, no big deal. No need to pay everything today. But psychologically, it changes how people make decisions. Instead of asking, can I afford this? People start asking, can I afford the first payment? That is dangerous because small payments feel small. But when many small payments stack together, they become a big problem. 1 payment for clothes, 1 for shoes, 1 for electronics, 1 for furniture, 1 for beauty products, 1 for gifts. Each one looks manageable alone, but together, they quietly drain income. This is how modern debt works. It doesn't always look like a giant loan. Sometimes it looks like 12 small payments scattered across your life. And that's what makes it so effective. People don't feel the weight immediately. They feel it later, when the paycheck arrives, and too many companies are already waiting for their share. Section 7. Inflation, the silent pressure. Debt becomes even more dangerous when the cost of living rises, because when prices go up, people feel squeezed. Groceries cost more. Rent costs more. Gas costs more. Insurance costs more. Healthcare costs more. And if income does not rise fast enough, the gap must be filled somehow. For many families, that gap is filled with credit cards. This is why inflation is not just an economic number. It is a daily experience. It is the moment you go to the grocery store and realize the same cart costs more. It is the moment rent increases. It is the moment insurance renewal arrives higher than expected. It is the moment a normal life starts feeling unaffordable. And when people feel that pressure, debt becomes tempting. Not because they want to be irresponsible, but because they are trying to survive. This is why the debt crisis is so emotional. Behind every number is a person making difficult choices. Do I pay the card or buy groceries? Do I fix the car or delay the payment? Do I save money or cover this emergency? These are real decisions millions of people face. Section 8. Social media made debt look normal. There's another reason debt has become so dangerous: social media. Every day, people are exposed to lifestyles they cannot afford. Luxury apartments, expensive cars, designer clothes, vacations, restaurants, perfect homes. And slowly, comparison changes behavior. People don't just buy things because they need them. They buy things because they want to feel successful. They want to look like they are winning. But here's the truth. Looking rich and being rich are not the same thing. Many people showing wealth online are not financially free. Some are renting the lifestyle. Some are financing it. Some are drowning in debt behind the scenes. But viewers don't see that. They only see the image. And the image creates pressure. This pressure is powerful because humans are social. We compare. We want status. We want approval. And companies know this. They sell not just products, they sell identity. A car is not just transportation, it is status. A phone is not just technology, it is identity. A vacation is not just travel, it is proof. And once people spend money to prove something, they become easy to control because approval is expensive and debt makes it available instantly. Section 9. Why banks win when people struggle. The debt system is not accidental. It is extremely profitable. Banks and lenders make money when people borrow. They make money through interest, fees, late payments, balance transfers, loan origination charges, and long-term repayment schedules. This does not mean all banks are evil. Credit can be useful, but the system is designed to profit when people keep borrowing. The ideal customer is not always someone who pays everything off immediately. The ideal customer is often someone who pays regularly, but never fully escapes. That person becomes predictable income, month after month, year after year. And that is the dark side of consumer debt. It turns human stress into corporate revenue. Every missed payment becomes a fee. Every carried balance becomes interest. Every emergency becomes another loan. This is why financial education is so important. Because if people don't understand the game, They become the product. Section 10. The difference between debt that builds and debt that destroys. Not all debt is the same. This is important. Some debt can build wealth. For example, a mortgage on a property that increases in value, a business loan that creates cash flow, an education loan that leads to higher income, a loan used to buy or build an asset. This type of debt can be strategic, but destructive debt is different. Destructive debt is used to buy things that lose value or disappear quickly. Expensive clothes, luxury vacations, daily consumption, high-interest credit card spending, cars beyond affordability, lifestyle purchases for status. The difference is simple. Good debt can help buy assets. Bad debt often buys appearances. Good debt can create future income. Bad debt steals future income. That is why wealthy people use debt differently. They use debt as leverage. Average people often use debt as escape. One builds freedom, the other builds pressure. Section 11. How people can start escaping the trap. So how does someone escape? It starts with awareness. You cannot fix what you refuse to see. The first step is knowing exactly where money goes. Not guessing. Knowing. How much comes in, how much goes out, how much goes to interest, how much goes to subscriptions, how much goes to emotional spending. The second step is attacking high-interest debt, especially credit cards, because high-interest debt grows aggressively. The third step is building even a small emergency fund, because without emergency savings, every surprise becomes debt. The fourth step is changing the relationship with money. Stop asking, can I afford the payment? Start asking, will this make me stronger or weaker financially? That one question can change everything. The fifth step is building assets, even slowly, investing, learning skills, increasing income, creating ownership, building systems. Because the goal is not just to escape debt. The goal is to build freedom. America's debt crisis is worse than many people think. Not because debt exists, but because debt has become normal. It has become part of everyday life. People finance their homes, finance their cars, finance their education, finance their phones, finance their furniture, finance their vacations, finance their groceries. And slowly, the future becomes crowded with payments. But there is still hope, because the moment you understand the system, you can start making different decisions. You can stop chasing appearances. You can stop normalizing bad debt. You can stop giving away your future income. You can start building assets instead of liabilities. Because true wealth is not about looking rich. It is about having freedom. Freedom from panic, freedom from interest, freedom from living paycheck to paycheck, freedom from owing your future to someone else. Debt can buy comfort today, but if you're not careful, it can steal tomorrow. If this video opened your eyes, subscribe to Next Gen Finance for more powerful money stories, business breakdowns, and financial psychology. And remember, the richest people don't just earn money. They control money. They build assets. And most importantly, they refuse to let debt control their future.